Now, here's your host, Bill Teegins.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Eddie Sutton Show. The regular season has come to an end, and what a great finish for the Cowboys coach when you think back about where you started and where your ball club was about 3 weeks ago. It was a great finish.
It was a great finish, and I'm very proud of our basketball team. We had a great December, and then injuries started hitting us, and the month of January was dismal. We started out conference play 0-5, then we were 1-6, and the last half of the season we go 6-1 and finish 7-7, 17-9 on the regular season, and we've won 7 out of our last 9 ball games, and the 2 games that we lost certainly were winnable games because we lost the game in Norman to the University of Oklahoma in overtime, and then we had that most miserable night I've ever seen any team have at the free throw line when we hit 12 out of 34 against Missouri and lost here at home in a game where we really outplayed the Tigers. But we fought back Sunday and beat Missouri for the first time, I guess, in 18 years. The 6 years I've been at Oklahoma State, we've gone in there and really played well. And the 2 previous years, we lost by 2 points to the Tigers and probably deserved to win. The game against the Tigers this year, maybe we didn't deserve to win. We certainly didn't play as well as we have at times when we went to Columbia. But Keontae Roberts got a putback on a missed free throw by Lambert, and we win the game 51-49. It was Adrian Peterson's birthday, right. And I was teasing him. I said, the last time the Cowboys won at Missouri, you were 1 year old because it was his 19th birthday. But I'm very pleased with this ball club, and now all the records are thrown out the window. Everybody's 0-0, and it's Big 8 tournament time.
Well, we're going to take a look at the Tigers. As Eddie Sutton said, the Cowboys with a victory up there for the first time in 18 years. We'll take a look at that when the Eddie Sutton Show continues. Welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show. Let's go to Columbia, Missouri. Coach, an 11 o'clock tip-off on national television. That's a tough time to get ready to play basketball.
It's tough for most ball clubs, and I think it was extra tough for us the way we played the first 20 minutes. It looked like to me we were running in quicksand, and we were down 12 points at halftime, and I went in and I told the squad, I didn't get angry at them. I just said, look, the front line scored a total of 2 points, and I just read the stat sheet. And I think they caught the message, and we came out the second half and played much, much better. We started in a zone because it was senior night, and they had the Haley twins and Winfield. They're 3 seniors, but we had a hard time, we felt like, matching up. It meant that either Jason or Keontae would have to cover one of the 7-foot Haley boys, and we just didn't think we could do it. We started zone, and the zone was all right for a while, but we couldn't score. And it's 5-4 with about 5 minutes gone, and all of a sudden they solved our zone, and Semi Haley, I think, had 16 points at halftime. In the last half, we shut him down. He only had 2, but he was the leading scorer in the ball game.
He averaged 5 a game coming in.
There's a good example of what you don't want to happen when you're playing zone or man. Don't let that ball enter the high post area because they'll go high-low on you, and that's what they did.
Sometimes when you play zone, does it make you more passive on the offensive side too?
Well, I think it can. There's no doubt about that. If you're playing man, I think you're moving your feet, you're moving all over the court, and you probably are a little more active. You can see we get good shots, but we certainly didn't hit the percentage that we've been hitting. It's what we call a cowboy play, where it's your guards cut through and you down screen, and it's a good shot by Andre Owens.
Andre finished with 11, and again, we talked about this last week, but he's really elevated his game.
Andre was the CBS player of the game for us. There's a very difficult shot off the glass by Marlon Dorsey. That's not what you call a high percentage shot, but it did go in. One of the keys in this ballgame in the second half especially was our board play. We had 18 offensive rebounds. Missouri only had 6 for the game. And we ended up getting 28 more shots from the floor than they did. They hit a higher percentage. Very seldom can you go and play a quality team and shoot 32% like we did for the ball game, but we did get a lot of extra shots. We did an excellent job on the boards. And the biggest thing, our defense was outstanding in the second half. We held Missouri scoreless for over an 8-minute period and forced them into 22 turnovers. We started full court pressing, and I think this also got us moving offensively. Good defensive steal there, lead pass to Jason. I think that was Jason's only field goal. He didn't shoot very well from the field. He's been shooting the ball so well. And there's a great defensive play by Keanu, and he takes it all the way.
You could almost see down the stretch where nobody from Missouri actually wanted to take the basketball because they turned it over so many times. Your pressure was really unbelievable on them.
Great follow shot by Jerome. He had a double-double, which I think he leads the Big 8 in that category. He had 11 points and 10 rebounds. Very quick jumper off the floor. We only had 2 people in double figures, Andre with 11 and Jerome, but we had Keontae with 9, and he hit 2 big putbacks late in the ball game, the game winner. We had Marlon Dorsey, who continues to play well. He had 8 points, and Adrian Peterson had 8.
Are you surprised at the way things have turned around? I mean, you finally got everybody healthy, but the last 7 or 8, 9 games of the season, you guys have really just taken it to a different level.
Well, I think our defense has been outstanding. There's Sutherland hitting a three-point shot, and John's probably one of the best guards in the league, but Andre did a terrific job on him. He only got 3 field goals, and only 1 off of Andre. He got 1 off of RW and 1 off of Adrian Peterson when he didn't close out on him. There's a good drive by Andre, but Andre, as I said, was MVP for CBS, but in this particular game, he was outstanding. He's been playing some great defense and really been spearheading our offense in running the ball club like a point guard. I think the one thing, other than our team being healthy, Bill, is the fact that when you win, you gain confidence. Yeah. And I think right now our team feels like they can go out and play with anyone.
I mean, you were down by 15. You were down at 12 at halftime, but you were actually down by 15 in the first half, and there never seemed to be any panic situation with the guys.
Well, you know, we had a good game plan. Randall Dickey and Sean are the ones that's been doing most of the scouting, and Randall happened to have this ball game, and he really gave us a good scouting report. He also gave us, we talked about what we felt like were the main keys, the things that would, watch this pass by Dorsey.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Behind the back pass to Keontae, and he lays it up. But we had a good game plan, and if you stick to it, even when you're not playing well, I think our players have a lot of confidence in the coaching staff. And then they went out in the second half, and I thought they just turned the heater up. We just played a lot harder, and the press helped us. We forced some turnovers right here. Marlon Dorsey with a good steal.
Their crowd, you know, that seats 13,000 plus. They've had 96 straight sellouts, but it was a pretty dead crowd. You took them out of the game.
Well, I think maybe it was too early in the morning. But
nobody could get into it, huh?
They played, the crowd was about like the teams were in that first half, or at least our ball club. There's a great example of where a guard penetrates the defense, forces help, and kicks it off. It was a bad shot by Sutherland, and a great hustle play here by Andre. Those are the little plays that make a difference whether you win or lose. It's a big basket.
You can tell he's more confident when he shoots the basketball, too.
We kept him off the free throw line. That's one thing that's helped us down the stretch. When we've been winning there early, we would commit so many what I call dumb fouls, nickel and dime fouls, and there's a good putback by County.
It'll give you a 5-point lead, I think, at that point.
48-43. I thought we were in pretty good shape, and well, that was
an unusual
call right there. And
they called it on
Andre on a charge, and they said he had already passed the ball when he crashed into Haley, and of course he went down, and now we're 1 point behind. There again is a good example of breaking the defense down, forcing help, and then kicking the ball off. And watch Jerome. He's not been a good free throw shooter, and not a lot of time left here. I think 9 seconds.
Yep. 49%
watch his
free
ball. We call it, look at that. There's a great example of the bench. Great bench enthusiasm. I went over and I said, Jerome, now you're going to hit this free throw. Tried to give him positive reinforcement. And I said, when we do, Missouri's going to try to get that ball into Sutherland. He's going to drive up the floor and try to draw a foul, or he's going to penetrate and kick the ball off. And Andre, you keep Sutherland in front of you. Now we told the other players, unbeknown to Jerome, I said, you run that free throw play, and that's what we did. We stun on free throw plays. There was about 3 different things that we do, and it was executed to perfection, and Keanu was in the right place. Great defense here. Right. Andre keeps Sutherland in front of him. He tries to get a shot off.
And that's it.
That's the game, and you can see happy group of Cowboy players, because it's been a long time in coming. And when we got back to the airport from Columbia, there were some people there, and they said, what a way to end the Big Eight.
Yeah.
You beat Oklahoma in the last game in Gallagher, Iowa, and you go to Missouri and break that big streak in the last game that will ever be played in regular season Big Eight.
51-49, Cowboys go to 17-9 overall and finish 7-7. And when you think about what happened about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's a great finish. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how small the world of athletics is. That's coming up next on the Eddie Sutton Show. Welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show. You know, Oklahoma State's Gary Ward is regarded as one of college baseball's best coaches. But if things would have turned out a little bit differently, he might be coaching basketball today, and he might have been working for Coach Sutton. Tom Dorado has a report on our Off the Court feature.
Gary Ward is widely considered one of the best to ever coach baseball on the Division I level. He's won an amazing 914 games and a little over 18 seasons at Oklahoma State. That's an average of 51 victories a year. He's led OSU to 16 Big Eight Conference championships, including a current league record 15 in a row. He's taken the Cowboys to the College World Series 9 times and played for the national championship on 3 occasions. O-State holds the NCAA record for consecutive trips to Omaha, 7 during the 80s. Ward is one of just 2 Division I coaches with less than 20 years' experience to rank in the top 30 when it comes to total victories. So what's a baseball coach doing in a place like this?
You know, quite frankly, I thought I'd spend my entire life in a basketball gymnasium. I always had a great love for baseball, but I started as a basketball player. The dream was to be a basketball player. It provided me a college education. I aspired to play professionally. I thought I'd make my livelihood as a basketball coach, and didn't work out that way. You reached a point in your 30s that it's hard to progress in any business. But I guess I was a little picky. I wanted to be with people that I shared the same philosophy with. And I had played for a guy named Presley Askew in New Mexico State, who was a contemporary of Henry Ibas, and you played defense at the point of attack. You got good shot selection. You hit the open man. You did the kinds of things to make an entire team work and win championships. And oddly enough, strange how the world works, I get a call and I fly into Arkansas when Eddie Sutton takes a job there. And we interview for a couple of days. He is the kind of coach, the kind of guy that I could work for, and I was to become his lead assistant if he couldn't hire Gene Cady. Katie's in the news today now, obviously, and Gene's at Purdue, and we've, at the time I was in New Mexico State, Louis Henson was the high school coach and a New Mexico State Aggie, another Oklahoman. So the fraternity goes deep, and I still have a lot of association with it. A lot of respect for what Eddie Sutton's done here. Absolutely excited that he could come back to Oklahoma State, to his alma mater. I did not get the job at Arkansas. I'd interviewed a couple weeks later at Oral Roberts with Jerry Hale, another Iowa guy, another guy that fit. And it really was a turning point in my career, because after those went by the board, I thought that at my age I needed to either become a head coach in basketball at the Division I level, or I knew I could move to baseball and get out of the junior college area and move into a higher level baseball-wise. And we made that decision as an individual and as a family. It's worked out great, but you find me back here over bouncing the ball occasionally because I have to have the fix. I've got to hear the ball hit the twine and hear the swish, and I still watch a lot of basketball and still very interested and very passionate about the game.
I recall a conversation you and I had almost immediately after it was known, it became official that Eddie was coming back to Oklahoma State. You told me in a nutshell, this is one tough competitor.
Yeah, I think he's a fierce warrior. He doesn't come across that way all the time, but I think that you got to understand where he's been, and I followed his career from Tulsa Central on because I've always been a tremendous fan of the sport. But I think when you see a guy do things at Creighton or at Southern Idaho Junior College or at Arkansas, those are not exactly utopias. In Arkansas, you have to remember, was a place where basketball wasn't that big time, and he turned it into a giant. And I just think he has such a marvelous a combination of personality and recruiting ability and bench coach type. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, college basketball coach in the country. I think it's been that case since I was back there trying to work for him. I wanted to work under a guy like that. But I just gained a lot of respect for Eddie, the Iowa tradition. Knew he was going to do well at Oklahoma State. Thought we were tremendously fortunate to have him come back to this place, and without question, we was going to immediately make a change and get us moving in the right direction.
Quickly, what about your ball club?
Well, we had 14 guys signed last year, and when you look at the 30-man squad we're working with right now, about 5 or 6 of them really are familiar with any level of responsibility. And we've taken them on the road for 6 games prior to the West Virginia sweep, and we're ended up 6-3, and that's not always where we want to be, but better accept it and move on. Hopefully we can survive this intact and ready ourselves for a Big 8 charge. We're going to have to put some numbers together. We're going to have to improve in a lot of phases of the game.
You and I have been friends a long, long time, but I'm still not sure there's a three-pointer left in that right arm today.
Well, it'd probably be nothing but net, baby.
Close up. Nice release. Switch!
You know, guys like Gary can still shoot the ball. He was a good player when he was playing, and you know, we're so fortunate to have him as our baseball coach. But believe me, Gary Ward would be a great coach in basketball, football, or whatever he wanted to coach. He's just a marvelous person and an outstanding coach. But I almost hired him, and it's a true story, knowing that he was from eastern Oklahoma, and I was so impressed with him. We had recruited a junior college player out of Yavapai Community College, where he was assistant basketball and head baseball coach. Young man by the name of Daryl Salisbury, who ended up playing for the Razorbacks. And I offered the job to Gene Cady. I told Gary, if Gene doesn't take it, you got it. Well, Gene decided to leave Hutchinson Junior College and come to Arkansas. And he was with me for 4 years, then went to Western Kentucky. And all of us know now what a great record he has at Purdue. He's won 3 Big Ten championships in a row. But Gary Ward, believe me, had he gotten that opportunity, he would have been a Division I basketball coach, and a very successful one. Our baseball team has been down in Texas this past week because it's been spring break. And believe me, he's going to have another great baseball program. But a nice piece by Tom, and I cherish Gary's friendship, and you know, I still cease to be amazed I never cease to be amazed at coaches of that era, like myself, who can still go out and shoot it. Now, we can't run or can't do anything else, but we can still shoot.
Yeah, you got the fundamentals down, don't you? It's funny the way and interesting the way life goes sometimes. Well, obviously, it's Big 8 tournament time. When we come back on the Eddie Sutton Show, we'll take a look at what's ahead for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show, and of course we're going to talk the Big 8 tournament. As we tape this, the tournament hasn't yet begun, so let's take a look at the brackets and see who's going to play who here this week.
Well, you got the University of Colorado, who finished in the cellar. They played Kansas, who I think this week was rated 5th in the country, and they'll be favored to win it, but don't be surprised somebody else doesn't win the tourney. And of course, we play the afternoon nightcap against K-State. Seems like we've played the Wildcats a lot of times in the Big 8 since I came back here to OSU. In the night games, you got Missouri and Oklahoma playing the nightcap, and Iowa State and Nebraska opening up at 6:10. 4 great games. Believe me, anybody can win any of the 4.
Quickly, your ideas, your thoughts on the matchup with Kansas State.
Well, Kansas State has one of the outstanding guards in Hatcher. You know, we lost the first time at Manhattan, I think, by 3 or 4 points, but we didn't have Maurice Robinson or Andre Owens. We came back here and won by 23 and did a great job on Hatcher. They've got one of the best inside players in Davis, but they've got some other good players, and believe me, they understand the importance of this game. There's nobody that's got a cinch going to the NCAA unless you win that tourney like we did last year.
Now, you also have some camps that you want to talk about because basketball goes on all year round, doesn't it?
One of the best times for me is when I get to work with young people, and we've got 3 different camps this summer. Of course, our individual camp where the guys stay overnight in the dorm. That's from June 16th through the 20th, ages 9 through 18. We've got a mini camp from June 10th through the 13th for 1st through 6th graders. And we started something new this year, a Cowboy competition camp for 7th through 9th grades from June 3rd through the 7th. They can write or call our basketball office and get a brochure. But I have more fun with those little guys than I guess any other time of the year. And all of our players are going to be there to help with the camp.
Oh, that's great. Coach, it's Big 8 tournament time, postseason. This is when the Cowboys normally shine, so wish you the best of luck. And again, that's coming up this weekend for the Big 8 tournament in Kansas City. For Coach Sutton, I'm Bill Teegins. So long, everybody.